Today, we're going to DIY some accessories for these shelves. Last week, we built the shelves. This is the beginning process of disguising this eyesore. I have done several things in this office space, and when you do one project, you then want to do another and another and another. You know what they say, when you give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna want more, right? I tried hitting the thrift store and I went into a couple different places, my normal, go-tos that, home goods or whatnot that might have something that I could set on these shelves. And I just came back empty-handed. And as I showed you in the last video, if you haven't seen it, go back and check that one out. It's linked in the description below. But what I said is that we're going to take some artwork and we're going to disguise this thermostat a little bit so that when you see this pretty mural on this back wall, you don't see this eyesore when you look back here. Probably going to shop a little bit of my stash for maybe a vase that will go up there, and we'll do some air dry clay pieces for down here. So let's grab our supplies and let's get started. All right, so now onto the artwork. We're going to take that. This is an 8x10 size canvas. Stretched canvas is what this is. And then I'm going to take some paint brushes, some little chip brushes. So I'm going to take one 2-inch. We're going to place it here. I'm going to place two like this, two smaller ones. And what we're going to do, and this was not my idea, I stole it from Pinterest, and I'll actually put that link below. When I was looking at Hobby Lobby, I saw some there and they were $6.99. I said, I know the Dollar Tree's got better prices than that. And for this type of project, I don't need expensive flowers, that's for sure. So my thought is to add these little flowers coming up out of the paintbrushes, like so. First, we'll start with the background and grab some paint. And some brushes. We'll have one brush for each color and then one for blending. So I have a yellow, a darker apricot, and a lighter apricot. And we're going to blend those in the background. And we're going to have a cup of water as well, because with all chalk-based paint, you want to have a damp brush. It helps the paint flow and it helps it to blend together really well as well. And it keeps it from drying too fast. So I'm just taking some of the lighter apricot, some of the darker apricot, and then a little bit of the yellow, and we're just gonna kind of blend it together. No rhyme or reason. We're just trying to create some depth and some movement in the background. And this is a great way if you want to learn how to blend colors like on a piece of furniture. This is a great way to do it on these inexpensive little canvases. We'll give everything a little spritz, and then taking a dry brush, we're just going to blend all of those colors in together. Well, what do you think? It's as pretty as a sunset. So I'm trying to make these look like old brushes. So what I'm going to do is get my scissors. I'm going to come over here to the trash can, and I'm just going to cut into the ends and make it nice and jaggedy as if it's an old worn paintbrush. Can you see that? See how it's nice and jaggedy? So what I'm going to do is do a lot of green and then mixed with some of these colors that will be in the background. So we're going to bring some of that green right down into the brush, the bristles. We'll just go on and continue doing the handles and the shaft and the bristles for all three of the paint brushes. After that, I took some yellow and I just kind of stippled that on to create a little bit of depth in that green. And then I'm taking a little tiny artist brush and creating just a few little dots, kind of flower-like looking petals, because I'm trying to create an illusion of there being little tiny flowers at the bottom that kind of come up and bloom up to really big ones, like they're closer to you, and the bottom of the handle is further away in the foreground. And each one I'm trying to duplicate the same shape as the flower that I'm going to be putting on to each one of the brushes in the coordinating color to the flower that I'm using. After you get all that painted on there, we're going to take the brushes and we'll just hot glue them on there and then add a few leaves, start adding some of the flowers,
and just keep adding to it until you get it where you want it to be.
I wanted some little trinket boxes or a little tray or just little something or other to go on the bottom shelf. And since it's so narrow, it's kind of hard to find anything. And I fell in love with a few things that I saw online that were way overpriced, of course. But I've also really wanted to try out doing some things with air dry clay because I've never done that before. And so that's what we're going to try to do today. I've kind of played around a little bit with these things and I'm kind of getting the knack of it. It's so much more difficult than what I thought it was going to be. That is for sure. I need to reel myself back in. I think we'll just kind of keep things simple. We're going to do the hibiscus like I saw online, and then and that'll kind of sit propped up, and then kind of like a long tray, maybe kind of wavy or scalloped or something like that.
We'll start with the tray first since that's supposed to be simpler. Sure, trying to keep it simple, right? I really just don't know how to do. So I'm just rolling the clay out. I got tongue depressors on each side so that I could get an even thickness. And then I'll take one of these clay knives, which I found some on Amazon that I really like. And I'll leave that in the link in the description, as well as the clay. I got that on Amazon as well. But I'm just cutting out an oblong shape. And then you just peel off the excess. You can just go ahead and throw that back in the bin as well, which is really awesome. You can just keep reusing it. I'm just crimping up the edges just so slightly, just to create a little bit of an edge. And then I'm crimping around the outside, creating a ruffle effect, just like you would pie crust. Spraying my hand just a little bit to smooth out any cracks or wrinkles, or my fingernails kept making little imprints. After it dried, I sprayed it with some white spray paint to seal it. And then I put on some decoupage medium, spritzed my napkin because that works so well. If you've seen my other decoupage projects, you would know this. I did get a couple little cracks in the where the ruffling part was, but it came out nice and smooth.
Now that this decoupage paper has dried, we're just going to take some sandpaper and clean off this edge a little bit. Now we're just going to take some gold gilding wax and a little tiny artist brush, and I'm going to just hit this, like I got too much on my brush, just hit the side of this, the edge, so it looks like a little gold rim, you know, like fancy.
I think it came out so cute. Oh, I love the little print on the inside, a little peekaboo. So what I did is took a silicone mat and then put some transfer tape over the top so I can just take that off when I'm done and throw it in the trash. Now we'll start that hibiscus. I took a piece of construction paper, made a shape like the petals, and now we're going to roll that out. Then we'll cut out the shape around the outside of that template so that each one of the petals is relatively the same size. We're going to cut 5 of those all together. Once it is fully cut out, I took a little more water on my hands and I'm just smoothing out the edges of each one of those petals so they don't look too square. Also, when you're cutting, you know, with clay, it kind of drags a little bit, so you get some rougher kind of edges. Trying not to use a whole lot of water.
So I'm scoring where I'm going to be placing the next flower petal, and I'm putting on what's called slip, which is just some of the clay mixed with water. So I hope I'm doing this right. I hope it all stays together. I have one little circle at the bottom to kind of hold the last one in, and then I'll just put that one right in there. Kind of curl up these like this, and then I want it to, when it sits, I want it to sit like this with that down in the middle. So I'm going to make a ring out of tin foil, aluminum foil, to let it sit in to dry. But let's get that center in there.
Scoring and adding the slip just like I did before. And then we'll just take this other tool and we're poking little holes in it to create the stemmen, I guess you'd call it, in the middle. No, I put it over here on, this is actually a cookie drying rack, and I took that ring, made the tin foil, and I'm gonna set it on top of some parchment paper to let it dry.
Oh no! That's not good. And I've already repaired it here, and here, and over here. So, yay. Apparently I did something wrong.
But I was determined to get this done and make this work. They say just take some of that slip and you can use that to glue the pieces back together again. So that's what I did. And I let it sit.
That's the one I just glued this morning. Dang it. Okay, I think this one piece is about ready to paint. It looks completely different than my inspiration, and that's okay. I wanted that, I wanted the movement. I didn't want it really flat. So I got lots of movement, a little too much movement though, because all these petals kept coming off. So what I did was I took some clay and underneath here, and you can tell I don't want to touch it right now. I took and made like a snake and put up underneath here to kind of reinforce the sections that were hanging over, so that hopefully it helps to hold them in place a little better. And then I placed this centerpiece. I made a bigger one and put that down in there and covered that all up. And so I'm hoping that this works. I think I did two things wrong. One, it's way too big for the thickness of the air dry clay that I was using. And I was trying to get it to move into sections. At least this is what I think. If you're an expert, if you've used air dry clay and you've sculpted with it, please feel free to give me advice in the comments below. It is pouring. We're getting terrible storms coming through here right now. So I'm going to try to talk over it. But anyhow, if you hear something roaring in the background, that's what it is. Anyhow, so that was one. I think maybe my clay was a little too thin. I probably used a little too much water because they said that'll weaken it as well. The other thing is that I tried moving this way too early. This took a lot longer to dry than I ever expected. So this time around, once I did those, sealing, I've left it for like 4 or 5 days. So hopefully now it will actually hold on its own. We're gonna rest it up on top of that shelf, and we're not gonna touch it again once I get it painted. So let me grab some paint and we'll get this painted up. I'm not really sure. I think I want it more white with maybe just a little bit of pink or something. So that's what we're gonna try to do. Okay, we're gonna paint most of it white. Try not to use too much water, but enough water to where the paint spreads. I will tell you something. I've started a sourdough starter from scratch, and it has been, when they say it's a journey, you have no idea. If you have done it, please let me know in the comments how you do. Majority of people that I know that actually make the sourdough bread actually either used a starter from someone else or bought it or something of that nature. They use like a dehydrated, you can buy a dehydrated starter, which I didn't even know. Anyhow, I know this is not a sourdough channel. My point in even saying that is I'm trying to figure out this sourdough starter thing. I am trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing to grow this channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'm also trying to figure out this stinking air dry clay stuff. So it's been a journey of a couple of weeks. Let's just say that much. As you can see, I don't want to even touch this flower. Like I probably should tip it over, but I don't even want to touch it. So we're not going to. Let's do that. And then we'll take just a little bit of this pink here, or maybe a little of that. See how that color looks, and kind of bring it from here and blend it out. You know what? I think we're just going to go with that darker color because it's really more of a hibiscus color, and it's the color of the buffet that's in that room. So let's just go for it.
Well, we're going to kind of stop right there. I'm not going to bore you with how I painted the rest of this. And it looked so pretty, but guess what? Yeah, this has just been a failed project. So we might just have to do plan B.
I literally got the whole thing painted, and look what happened again. So we're gonna throw this in the trash. We're gonna go with plan B for the shelves, and I'm gonna try this again, but I'm gonna do some things much differently. Okay, now it's time to get all of this put together. Are you ready? So I shopped my stash of milk glass and lots of other goodies that I've had, and I remembered I had this, so I found it. So I think that'll work perfect right up here. And it's just the right size. And then we have our tray that we did with the little gold trim. We'll put that right down there. And our flower didn't work out, so I did find this. And it's scalloped, it's pretty. It's okay, but it's not what I want. So we are going to redo that flower, and I have an idea of a different way of doing it that maybe will make it more sturdy. We'll see. I hope. I'm still learning a lot with that air dry clay. All right, now let's go put up our artwork, because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to disguise this thermostat, and there you go. Wait a minute. Oh no. Oh, y'all, I messed up. Well, don't you know, nothing went right in this project, did it? Oh, that doesn't look right there. I should have given a little more space to give this some room, because that just doesn't look right. There's too much. Oh, darn it. All right, hang on. Let me go shop my stash and see what I've got. It's okay, it didn't work out there, but I think it's gonna look perfect right over here.
So I shopped my stash and I found this frame. I actually used it at Valentine's Day. If you haven't, check out that video. But I play around with some watercolor. So this was a watercolor postcard that I had painted a butterfly on. So I just cut that out to the size and I popped it into the frame, and we'll tape the back of it so that it doesn't fall out.
All right, I think this is gonna work much better. Let's see. There we go. If at first you don't succeed, you try again and again and again and again and again. Maybe, just maybe it'll work out. I'm okay with it for now, but make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you're not going to want to miss the next video. I am going to give an update. I am going to stick with it and get this flower done. If it's not the next video, it'll be the one after that. So, well, I guess the word for this project is patience. And I guess God was just trying to tell me I needed to work on my patience because I don't think there was much of anything that went as planned in this particular video. Like I said earlier, I've been trying to try out air dry clay, and I've been trying to make a starter, and I'm trying this whole YouTube thing to get this channel to grow, and it's just too many things I'm trying all at once. But sticking with it, in the end, the reward was much better than the stress that I actually went through to get here. So hope you love my little scallop shelves. They are quite pretty. It did the purpose that I was trying to do. We are trying to cover this thermostat, so every time I looked over here, you didn't see that. So next week, I am solving another problem. So make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss a video. I'm also going to redo that flower. So I'm just going to do it a little slower paced. And so make sure you come back so that you see how it worked out. Okay? All right, y'all. See you in the next one. Dude seems to think he needs to be on video every single time. I forgot to press record. I'm working on it, y'all. Wait a minute. Oh, no.
Oh no.
All right, it's going to take me a minute to get up. Let me get back to you. If y'all are in your 50s, you know what I'm talking about. My knees, ow!